is what's happening.
Right.
Yes.
And his discernment is he's giving us his discernment so that we can see that.
Right, right. The Spirit is moving as the Spirit wills. And what God's basically done is says, okay, we're going to bring forth the real prophetic word now.
Yes.
And it hasn't just started now, right? And there's people that have always heard. But if we want to look at this current Reformation, people have been talking about a human being seated at the right hand of God for a while now in great detail. Listen, that ain't come by men and women's much study.
No.
That's come by the Holy Spirit saying, we've had enough of this being the prophetic. We about to release what the prophetic actually is. So that people can behold themselves in the face of Jesus as if they were looking in a mirror. And they can know themselves the way they've always been known by God. Because the greatest miracle that could ever happen to anyone is for their life to be animated by the love of God.
Amen.
Yes.
Right? That's the greatest miracle
Yes.
that could ever happen in a person's life, is to be animated by the love of God. And if you want to say, well, I don't know, okay, well, I'll grant you, for a human being to be filled with the Holy Spirit, right, is 1-2. That's the greatest miracle that could ever happen,
That's
right?
Yeah.
So when Paul said he didn't come with words of wisdom, he didn't come, he wasn't saying, I didn't come preaching the gospel. If you look at the context there, he said, I didn't come preaching man's wisdom. In Romans, he said the power unto salvation is the preaching of the gospel.
Yes.
So Paul says, I didn't come preaching words of man's wisdom, but I came preaching a word that was full of power to fill all those who would believe with the Spirit of the living God. And what was the word that he preached? Christ and him crucified.
Yeah.
That's the word he come preaching. He didn't say, well, I didn't preach at all. I mean, we had this funny saying in our Signs, Wonders, and Miracles thing, where it was like, I can't remember how man, it's been so long now, but we would say something like, go and do something, and if necessary, preach. But Paul said faith comes by preaching.
Yeah, right.
He said faith comes by hearing, and how shall they hear unless someone preach? If you go look at Jesus' ministry, he taught more than he did anything. Go look it up. It says, and he taught, and he taught, and he taught, and he taught. Paul said the power unto salvation was found in the preaching of the gospel. When God wanted to do something to us, he preached a word. His word was made flesh.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the reason that people fell into those three groups was because they hadn't heard the gospel.
That's right.
Right. And you know what? I think in the three groups, the fear was that the people who were going to get their ears tickled would be us.
Yeah.
And then we had been afraid to step away from that group because we're coming into an ear tickling, which in fact they were.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
It is.
Yes.